Okay, so today we're going to practice a pendulation meditation. So this is a great exercise just to practice when we get overwhelmed with feelings or when we have just a small or minor or larger irritation. And we're going to feel into it, and we're going to also notice that we have the ability and we have in parts of us that are not experiencing that sometimes. So it's especially good for overwhelming situations when you start to have the practice of being able to move away from it without avoiding it, right? Still being present, yet not sort of dissociating from it. So go ahead and and by the way, this is from Peter Levine, um, who does a lot of great trauma work. So go ahead and get yourself seated in a nice, comfortable seat. Um, and don't get too comfortable. Don't be too stiff. Close your eyes and just start to follow your breath. Don't change anything about it. Just notice the act of breathing. Maybe notice a point on the inhale that feels a certain way and a point on the exhale. But don't try to change anything. So I want to invite you to bring up something that's mildly disturbing. So something on a scale from 1 to 10 is like a 3. Okay, so 1 being smallest irritation, 10 being the worst thing that's ever happened. This is like a 3. Okay, so something fairly low. I'd like you to do this very slowly and gently as you notice how you're experiencing this sort of level 3 irritation in your body. If it ever feels too big or overwhelming, you can simply notice the edges of the uncomfortable feeling, of the emotion, and where it ends. Okay? So I'm going to have you now gently feel into the experience of this sort of upsetting sensation and just noticing whatever's there. Okay, so maybe it's a physical sensation like tingling or pain, tightness or heaviness, or maybe it could be an emotion, sadness, grief, anger, or just a general energy, a tingling or pulsating or something along those lines. But whatever's here, I like you to welcome it. And you welcome it by saying, for example, if you noticed it was sadness, you're welcome here, or heaviness, you are welcome here. And you can repeat this to yourself, or you can repeat this out loud. Whatever you notice, just let it be known that there is a time and space for it, and that time and space is right now for it to be as present as it needs to be. And notice what changes as you welcome what's here. Okay, so you may notice a sensation like hot or cold or tingling, or you may have some visual images behind your closed eyelids. Maybe there's a movement associated with this sense or feeling. Or maybe it's a texture like smooth or light or smooth or rigid. If you can't think of a word, here's an example of some. There's foggy, there's constricted, crushing, light, stagnant, empty. And when you come up with the word, you can either say it out loud or you can kind of make a soft mental note and come back to it. We're going to have to come back to it, so try to make it something that you can remember. So really focus on what's happening now in this present moment. Be really honest with yourself about what's here and the true sensation of each moment being here, and observing how it changes or shifts or comes or goes. Be curious, just like you were watching a movie or your favorite show. And now I want to invite you to do something a little bit different now. So we want to try to find a place in the body that feels completely, totally different. So a place that is not experiencing the level 3 disturbance or irritation. A place that feels comfortable or peaceful or just neutral or just okay. And it could be a place in your body that is as small as the tip of your finger or the tip of your nose. And spend some time feeling into that part of the body just like you did the activation or that irritating part. Maybe that part feels calm or relaxed or neutral or peaceful or pleasant. But see if you can come up with a word that describes this other experience. And now we're going to practice going in between these two places. I want you to practice moving back and forth. I want you to use the word that you came up with, right, as the thing that connects the two places. Right? So if it was sadness and peacefulness, I'll close my eyes. I think of sadness and how I felt it on my body and where I felt it, and then I'll go to my fingertip where peaceful was at. I'll just practice moving intentionally back and forth between the two places. Maybe I'll stay for a couple seconds and decide to go back. Whatever works for you, there's no right or wrong way. Just pay attention to what happens. Notice if your body has any automatic changes, like a release in the breath, or any sort of muscle tension released, or anything at all, anything notable. Just pay attention to what's there as you go back and forth. And now I want you to just go to your breath. I don't want you to change anything about it. Again, just notice the inhale, a certain sensation on the inhale. Maybe notice a certain sensation on the exhale. And just go through about 6 or 7 breath cycles. Don't change anything about it. And now you can come back into the space around you. And if you were in session, we'd probably have a discussion about what that was like for you. So maybe you can just jot some things down for yourself if you're alone, or just make some mental notes about what that experience was like. And this is a great one to come back to. It only takes a few minutes, but can be really useful. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message, shoot me an email, and we'll talk soon. And thanks for your time.